think something that really interests me as an artist is to, have kind of sometimes, I think, fall in love in lines and the geometric pattern. With NONOTAK, what is nice is that it's more like to draw inside a space compared to when I was drawing like inside on a paper or like on painting or any material.
The relationship between visuals and sound is pretty important in NONOTAK. In fact, we never dissociated. Museums were never set up in a way it could inspire like young kids easily. That's why I was more into the musical environment, live shows. And when I realized that we could mix music and space and light at the same time and create an experience that is pretty unique, I was really sold about the idea of dedicating a big part of my life experimenting on light and space.
Shilo is a video mapping project on like translucent structures. And what I really like in this performance is the fact that how we place the projectors with 2 projectors in rear projection and 2 in front projections that allow us to play with our silhouette. So sometimes Tag disappears and sometimes he disappears, and the same for me. So it's kind of a visual tricks with like electronic music and tight synchronization between the sounds and the visual.
I think the idea of making a performance, like working on our first performance, which is not this one, which was called Late Speculation. When we got this idea, it was because I was basically missing stage. I used to play in a band as a guitar player, and I toured a lot. And when we started NONOTAK, it was basically just museums or like exhibition spaces. And I really missed that thrill of like being on stage and being in that envelope. What performance could bring that is impossible to bring when we create an installation, and how installations and performance can be complementary. The whole series of performance we are working on are based on silhouettes.
Basically, I have like some signals from time, some MIDI clips, and then for this performance in particular, I'm using Resolume, so it's like a VJing software, and then I can kind of change like the speed because it's really minimalistic, the visual, and we have these structures that guide a lot the visual. Even to change in which screen the visual is triggered or in which direction the one lines can go change a lot on the visual effect.
For this show I use Ableton Live. So this is the program I use for pretty much everything, like for designing sound, for performing live. There's MIDI going on through our computers and communicating, so it could be syncing, it could be clips that get triggered, it could be devices that I use on Macs that can connect like sound and MIDI. It could be MIDI notes that are reflecting the pitches that we use in our sound that is translated to visuals through MIDI also.
between the sound and the visual was something really important from the beginning for us. Also because Tak has a music background and he's like a music producer. For me, I feel like the sounds give like emotion, give the feelings and the emotion, because when you have, even if you have the same visual, the sounds can change like how the visual looks. It's give like a life and emotions aspect of the visual.
I'm a former architect. I felt that kind of freedom in music, in cinema, in a lot of things, but not art. And when I really started working with space, sound and light with Noemi, we really started having fun. That's maybe the first time I really understood what was meant to be an artist. Personally, when I write music, when I design music, I always think about spaces, or like there's always a sort of like abstract vision going on in my head. And then I start to put colors or spaces or thickness or motion in the idea that I have, and I start to think about how it could sound like.